Straight binge. Yeah. But that's the secret. That's how these motherfuckers are making. They flipping 4,000, 27,000, and 900,000, 300,000 in 7 months. Motherfuckers be studying 17 hours a day. You know, just like how we drive a truck, right? And you come out here in the oil field, you know, you working almost 24 hours in the day, you know? But, yeah, we about to crank these videos up, man. But, yeah. Let's see what we got. Oh, yeah, good. That is some. Yeah. Motherfuckers just be getting blocked early this morning. Yeah, what she say? Yeah, study time. And while I'm studying, I'll just make this video. I gotta make a video a day, at least one video a day. Even if we ain't talking about shit. But, yeah. Let's do this video on. But, I wanted to look at charts because I was learning some new shit yesterday. Basically just confirmation, man. That's all these videos are, man. They're just confirmation. Like I said, penny stocking framework. It's just giving you confirmation to take the trade. You know, it's giving you confirmation to take the trade. So when you see that pattern, or when you see a stock do a certain pattern or make a certain move, you're like, all right, I got confirmation. This motherfucker is about to do what I've already seen these other guys do. These guys that are making 200, like the guy in penny stocking framework, he's got a small account. When I say small account, he's got $50,000 he leaves in his account, and he still made $200,000 for the month. You know what I'm saying? He still made $200,000 a month just scalping around stocks. You know, he's only making, you know, a few, you know, like a couple $100, $1,000 here or there per trade. But anyways, he said he made like 200 grand. So 200 grand for the month. Let me tell you something. If you make $200,000 in a month, you on the right track. And shit, if you make it $200,000 a month, in a month, I'm gonna listen to what the fuck you got to say. You know, I'm gonna listen to what you got to say. Shit, you could be making, you know, 10,000, 20,000 in a month. I'm still gonna listen to what the fuck you got to say, and I'm gonna try to see what it works. But yeah, all the shit that he was talking about was money. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna look at some charts. I'm gonna go back and look at some charts. Go back and look at some of these charts. I gotta get some salt water, man. Get some salt water. Salt water is like coffee in the morning. Yeah, salt water. Salt water is like coffee in the morning. Yeah, gotta have it. Yeah, if you ain't used to it, it'll taste real salty and shit. Yeah, if you ain't used to salt water, it'll fucking light you up. But I'm used to it. Alright, let's look at some charts. I'm gonna record some of this shit so you can see what I'm seeing. Alright, let's see, what is this? What is this? What is this?
So Tim Sykes Millionaire Challenge Program.
Alright, cool. And hey, if you guys notice Tim Sykes videos that I post, I'm gonna be posting this shit every day just so I can get it out there. And yeah, I'm gonna be doing it every day, just as like an advertisement, you know what I mean? So I'll be posting that video. So if you're like, damn man, he just posted that video essay, yeah, it's gonna be happening every day because I have an affiliate link. So I get a percentage of the take. So whatever you buy, I get a percentage. You know what the fucking affiliate link is. So I'll be posting that shit every day, every fucking day. Matter of fact, I'm posting it right now. Yeah. All right, give me a second. I need to go to this YouTube. Where you at? So what time is it? 10 o'clock. So from 10 to about 8 o'clock tonight, I'm gonna be done studying. Yeah, so I'm gonna be posting the same video over and over, once a day, every day. Just to get his shit out there. And I can get that traffic coming in too. Like I said, I make money off of that shit. Like I'm already up like $89 from people just going into the site, buying, his DVDs, or buying his penny stocking framework, or buying his, or getting into his millionaire, whatever you call it, millionaire challenge. So I'll be posting every day, just once a day, same video, same shit, over and over and over, just like a fucking commercial. But at least, you ain't have to worry about, when you watch my videos, you don't have to worry about, motherfucker just popping up a goddamn fucking commercial while you watching the video. I ain't doing all that shit. But I will be posting this video every day, so you can get out there. So you're like, damn. So at least you don't have to watch it. At least you already know it. You have already seen it. But for the new people that haven't seen it, it's good. All right, let's do charts. So I'm gonna make a video on charts. You can see what I'm seeing, and I can show you what I've been learning. If it makes sense, shit, you good. Right. Fuck, I don't give a shit about this. Alright, we in charts? Alright, we got charts. Alright, cool. Alright, so let's check out some of these stocks that were running today. Yesterday. We're just going back on stocks that were running yesterday. There we go. You should get live stream should be better. I just switched over. That fucking, for some reason, this Wi-Fi is no good. But not for YouTube streaming. I don't know why. But anyways, so let's do charts. We are doing charts. Charts. All my saving, all my presets. All the stuff that I already have up here. Watch list. Where is the runners? We need the runners. Where they at? Pull the runners up. Here we go. So I got about 200 stocks right here on former runners. These are just former runners, man, that made big moves in the past. And if stock has moved, $2, $3, $6, $10, $20, you want to remember those stocks and you want to pull them in a watch list. So I put it in a watch list and I named it runners. So like I said, if you can see right here, let me blow it up for you. You can see right here, I got nothing but runners in this motherfucker. You see all these stocks? These motherfuckers run like a motherfucker. These stocks are money. You know, like this motherfucker right here, Craig. It ran 50. It actually ran more than 50%. It's just down. Ran up 100 and some change. You know. You always want to remember stocks that run, because you know what? With stocks, they're just like people. You know, I was telling my little shorty that's in New York. You know, she's got this friend. You know, it's that pretty much it's just like me. You know, everybody has a routine. You know, it's the same routine over and over. You know, stocks are the same fucking thing, man. They're the same. It's just like people. They have their own. They have their own personalities, but they're predictable. These stocks are fucking predictable. They're just like people, and you want to remember them. You see a fucking stock run 900, 300%, 200%. Guess what? There's a good chance that bitch is gonna run again. Like the shipping stocks. The shipping stocks, like DRYS, Tops, CINO. You know, all these stocks were runners last year, same time last year in November. So you just want to remember them. You want to remember them because when they start to run, you have them on your watch list, and all of a sudden you start to see the top percent gainers in your watch list. These are the top percent gainers. You see this? 54%, 37%, 13%, 12%, 12%. You know, these ain't real big gainers, but you know, when the market is moving, you could see, you know, stocks moving. You'll see 100%, 200%, 300%, you know, 80%. Those are top gainers, man. So you want to remember them. You want to put them in your watch list because they're gonna make you money, because you know they're fucking runners, and you learn Timothy Sykes strategies, and you got no choice but to make money. Like I said, you could be dumb and stupid and be a crash dummy, and you still can go in class, learn a few hours or a few days or a few weeks, study for a few weeks, and break out of that and get in and start trading. You'll make money. You know, like I said, crash dummy can do this kind of shit. You just gotta study. You know. All right, let's look at some fucking charts. Let's go with Craig. We'll do Craig real quick. So click there. Actually, I'm gonna get out of this. I don't want this. It's too much. Alright, so we got the Craigslist. I said the Craigslist. Where's my former runner at? Where's that? There it is. And we'll just scan this way. So we got Craig. Alright, so let's go to yesterday and see if we can find some patterns that fit the description of the video lessons I've been watching for the past, like last night. So this was yesterday. So let's see, this is 1 minute chart. Now, well, we know when a stock spikes up, right? And it went from $4 to $9. It's like a $5 move. It's big money. You get 5 times your money. You get what I'm saying? It's a lot of fucking money. And then it comes down, and you can expect the bounce, right? So there's the bounce. So from $5. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. This thing went from $4 to $9. So if you have 5 times your money, it bounced at 5, from 5 to 7. Still, that's a big move too. That's a $2 move right there. You know what I mean? That's big money. And let's see, the volume. I think this is where it halted. Right here is where it got halted, and that's where you get the gap down. And then from there, you know, you got green action, right? Oh, you got green action, so it's green, 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 and all of a sudden, you know, the halt cracks, and then it goes red. You know, if a stock is up from, you know, 473 to 9.49. This is best case scenario, man. You know, I would start building in. I would start building in because, you know, the momentum's pretty much changed. You got a gap down, and then you know, it goes red, and it's starting to make its way down. I would be building like a motherfucker right here, which would be a good bet because you know, it cracks. It goes from what, 883 down to 598. So 6, 7, 8. So pretty much $3 your money, 3 times your money. 3 times your money. All right, let's see if we can find another pattern here. Let's go. What is this? 2 day? We'll go 15 day. My salt water. Oh. Yeah, so if you even think about doing that salt water, if you think about doing that salt water, the best thing you do is as soon as you wake up in the morning, you hit a whole bottle, hit 1 bottle of that, and you get good at it. I dump 1 teaspoon of that motherfucker. 1 teaspoon of salt. Throw it down. Let it sit for an hour, and then go ahead and eat. And that shit will do wonders, I'm telling you. And it's backed up by my blood work. So I got my blood work done last year while I was doing this, and the clinic and my blood work, and the doctor that called me, he was like, damn, he's like, what are you doing, man? He's like, your shit looks amazing. Like, my cholesterol level, you know, just the basic stuff that you know, a lot of people worry about. Oh, well, you know, if you take a lot of salt, you got to worry about cholesterol. That's bullshit. That's what those motherfucking doctors and shit and the mainstream folks, what they want, that's what they want you to be scared about. That's bullshit. So anyway, my cholesterol levels are fucking perfect. That's the main thing, right? Cholesterol level, just everything overall. I think I can email the clinic and have them email me my my transcripts or my blood work, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But yeah, everything came back amazing, man. The doctor was just like, damn. He's like, so what's your diet like? I said, I just eat red meat. That's it. 10% fat, all meat. And he's like, really? He said, you don't take no vitamins? I'm like, no. He's like, you don't eat no vegetables? I'm like, no. Every so often, yeah, but we don't. It's not like I'm eating fucking broccoli every motherfucking day, you know. If I could juice, I would juice the fucking veggies, but you know, I don't have the fucking meat. I don't have the funds for all that. But anyways, so look, here's one. Let's check this stock out. So we got sideways action right here. This is great. This is what he's talking about, and this is perfect, right? Perfect. So we have how many days here? We got quite a few days. Oh, my computer's a little lagging because the video. I got the video up. All right, this is not. All right. So anyways, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, we got quite a few days. 6. So we got six days of sideways action, and you just want to set your alert, right? You set your alert for whichever way, you know. But I don't really give a fuck if it goes down because the stock is under $2, and you know, if the stock is under $2, you know, it's really not worth shorting because these brokers, they're gonna want $2 a share, you know. $2 a share to get in that position. So basically, you're not gonna be. You thinking, oh well, I'm gonna get a lot of shares because it's the stock is super cheap. No, these motherfuckers, they're gonna tax you $2 a share for a stock like that. So anyways, I set my alert. You set the alert right above the sideways action. As soon as it breaks, you buy. And this motherfucker right here is a low floater. You see this low float? Low float. You see that? That's a low float, low market cap. But this is the key right here. Low float is the key, because if you buy a low floater, let's blow this up. I'm gonna show you what happens when you buy a low floater and when they run. When you buy a low floater, here we go. When you buy a low floater, this is what happens. This is what happens right here. This is money. This is perfect. This is picture perfect. It don't get no cleaner than this. So as soon as it breaks this sideways action at $1.27, it cracks and it runs, and it continues to run, and it never comes back. And that's what you want. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't scare you out. You don't have to sit there and watch the motherfucker. But it went from 120. It broke 125. The breakout's 137. So from 137 all the way up to what was the high? 127 to 6. This is all in one day too, mind you. 673. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 5 times your money and some change. Make 5 times your money. You know, you buy. Yeah. Let's do it, man. You buy me. I would have went big. So let's just say 10,000 shares. 10,000 shares times, let's say $1.37. That's $13,000 to get in that position, right? So it costs you $13,000 to get in that position. So 10,000. Let's see, 137. Subtract 673. That's $5.36. So $5.36 times 10,000. That's what you would have made in one day. 53 grand on a on a 13, like a $10,000 investment, like 13,000, whatever it is. So you would have bought $13,000 cash pocket, right? That's what you would have came out of pocket. You would have made 53,000 on a run like that in one day. 53 grand in one day on a $10,000 buy-in. 53 grand. And I probably would have been more aggressive. So I could have been, it's just, it's just catching these motherfuckers when they run, catching them when they run. And you'll catch one. You just got to be there at the right time and not be fucking with some stocks that it just ain't worth your time. And that's what happened with me a couple of times this week, which, that was a mistake. It was my fault because I got bought in by accident because I had a sell position in, and it automatically filled me, and a short position in, it automatically filled me because I didn't take it off the fucking the buy order, so I got filled in. But anyways, so yeah, that's a good run right there. Let's look at another stock. DCIX is a good runner too. It's been running. Tops, we'll check out Tops. Tops was running today. Friday. So let's go to Tops. Alright, so let's see what we got here. We got up, then we got down, then we got sideways action. Bottoms. When it goes sideways, man, you just gotta set your alerts. I would have set my alert for right here. This is the bottom, right? Or you could say this is the bottom. But yeah, or you could say this is the bottom. Whatever bottom you pick, just set an alert. And then right here, this is where it cracks. And it cracks from 92 cents down to 81 cents. Not much of a crack, but still a fucking crack. It doesn't matter how you want to look at it. Crack is a crack. This is the base. This is what the guy is talking about in Tim's DVDs. This is what they call the base. It's after a huge run up like this, and then comes back down and consolidates. This is what the base is. This is your This is basically your risk. You know, whether the stock goes up or down, this is the risk, and this is my risk level. So if I were to put in a position, you know, or get into a position, like say for example, I would set my alert here, and then I would set another alert, say, you know, here, right? I would set the alert here. If it cracks either one of these top or bottom alerts, that's the position I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna get in immediately right after the crack. And this would be good. This would be a good example of, you know, even though it's after hours, but still, if it wasn't after hours, there's a good chance this bitch would have kept going down, you know, because it cracked and it just kept going. So you get the crack right here, it keeps going. How many minutes we got here? 18 minutes. All right, let's see. I'm making a video right now. Hold up. Let's see what we're gonna call it. Just reviewing strategy. Okay, just making sure. Oh man. Morning, Andrew. What's up, boy? That's a good question, KP. He says all this technology nowadays. And he says, I wonder how was the people able to watch stocks? They weren't watching the stocks. They were watching the tape. And you're like, what the fuck is the tape? What's the tape? Basically, the tape is, it's just showing you numbers pretty much of what the stock is doing. So if you're looking at the Dow Jones or the S&P and you ain't got no charts, back in the day, like Jesse Livermore, he would have a printer, like a printer back in the day, and it would just tape out the numbers of the stock. So it would just say, you know, say stock, it was at $100, and then it'll go, you'll see a tape that says 100, 101, 102, 103, and then it will bounce to 99 cents, and then 98, 98, 97, 96, 95, and you would just see numbers, you know what I mean? So you're just going off the tape. So that's how they were doing the stocks back then. Whereas now it's fucking money, you know? Thank God for technology, but yeah, Jesse Livermore made millions just reading tape and just looking at numbers. That's it. And now look at us. We got charts. We got all this fucking bullshit. You know, what do you call it? You know, moving averages, Bollinger Bands. You don't need all that bullshit. That's all bullshit. That just complicates shit. You don't need all that. But some people like it. Everybody's different. Everybody's different. Not one way's, you know, the way to trade. Every trade is different. You know what I'm saying? You know, you might want the Bollinger Bands on when you got your charts up. You know, everybody's different. Motherfuckers might like moving averages. Me, I like a clean ass chart. I'm just going off of price action. I'm just going off of tops and bottoms, and that's what I like. You know, I like my shit clean. I don't like all that bullshit on there. I'm good. All right, so let's get to studying, man. I did my video. I'm not gonna waste a lot of time, doing. Well, actually, let's do it. I'm gonna do some more. Hold up. I'm just looking, but yeah. So tops, it consolidated after the opening bell. It cranked up. It went from 80 cents all the way up to fucking $1.20, $1.18, and you got to remember, Professor, what's up, man? You got to remember, or we should remember that I'm talking to you like I'm a fucking teacher. We should remember that round numbers are things to look for, especially when you looking to see where the stock is going, So say for example, tops right here is a perfect example. Went from it broke out from let's see, the base was 84 cents and it broke out from 84 cents all the way up to trying to hit $1.20. Round numbers are numbers that we need to remember, and a perfect example of the stock I did yesterday, and it was what was the stock I was in right now? Was it what's the name of the stock? I don't even know what stock I was in yesterday. Isn't that funny? Fuck. Anyways, let's see if I can find it. What's that fucking stock I'm in? Is it? Yeah, I think I'm okay. I'm in XNET. Okay, XNET. I got in, and the top was in. The top was in at $13.98. So what does that tell us? It tells us that round numbers are what you need to be looking at. 14, or it's just like round numbers. Yeah, click the link, man. You'll get the website. Anyways, round numbers is what you want to look for. Is what we need to be looking for, especially when we're trying to enter and exit a position. And tops was a good example because it tried to break 120, but it couldn't break. Round number, right? Round number. And then you can see topping. You can see topping action, and you said, what is topping action? Topping action is when you see a candle wick, right? You see a candle wick upside down with the wick up on the upside, and you got the candle the downside. And we got multiple candle wicks right around this area, and that's a fucking indication that the trend is turning. And then you got the huge volume behind it, right? When you got a huge volume spike, that's kind of a reversal indicator. When you see high volume from previous volume, and then you see hammer candles, they call them hammer candles. You see a hammer candle, the stock is going to start going the other direction. It might not go the direction for long, but there's a good bet you could start to see the bitch go, and that's what happens. It goes from green to red, and it stays red, and it just continues to crack. It makes lower highs on tops, right? If you look at tops chart, right? If you go to the tops chart right now and you look at 11.9, what was it? Yeah, 11.9 chart, November 11th day, you'll see it made lower highs, and then after that it just cracks and it just crashes. So yeah. What's up, man? Alright, I'm watching videos. You guys can hang out, you can listen to this shit, but I'm not gonna cut the stream. So you're basically just gonna be watching me fucking study. That's all I'm doing, studying. But in the meantime, man, y'all can talk whatever the fuck y'all wanna say. I'll answer while I'm studying. But yeah, we doing from, what time is it now? So from, let's say 11 o'clock, from 11 to fucking 8 o'clock tonight. Nothing but study. So that's what we're doing. So let's do it. Let me throw this bitch up. Get this bitch going.
Alright, so base breakouts is a little bit different type of breakout. Often stocks that fall, it could be a $30 stock or a $50 stock. Certain stocks just start tanking. And, I don't usually try to bottom.
I gotta brush my teeth. Oh, my goodness. I'll take y'all in, man. I'll read your comments while I do my teeth. I gotta brush your teeth. Kevin says, when you first started, how much did you start out with? Probably about 150,000. 150,000. Lost every bit of that motherfucker. So I know how to. I know when emotion comes in play. When you fucking with real money, and the emotions kick up. Hold up. When emotions you kick up, that's the name of the game, man. That's the name of the game. Is harnessing your emotions when you are trading. Alright, this is not working. I need to get a whole new camera setup, because this camera setup, this pod I got, this is fucking garbage. It's on its last leg. But anyways, yeah, I started probably about 150,000 cash in my shit. Lost every bit of it too. And that's what got me into the oil fields. I was trying to get in the oil fields in 2015 to make the money back, because you can make a lot of money in the oil, right? 100,000 for the year. So 100,000, man. I probably wiped that account. I wiped that account probably within a year's time.
Stock just double like that for no reason. Well, you got to remember when this stock finally reverses, it's going to be a nice swing trade for us. And so stalking it, setting alerts, buy alerts, so that finally when it does come out of some level of base, I can see right away that it could run to its first level of resistance and not to the twos, right? So you have almost a potential dollar that you can make once it comes out of that range. Now, the one thing you don't know is how long it's going to take to come out of the base. And so that's where really setting your alerts is important, because you can't just watch a stock for every tick of every day. So you got to make sure you set an alert. So on Teletra, you can email alerts. Email you and be like, hey, the stock is moving out of its base. And so I get the email alert, I look at it, take me 2 seconds, and boom, bye. $8, $9, and this might have been, a couple years ago. So $8, $9 know to buy something in the market when there's going to be enough volume. That stock gapped up and pulled back a little bit, I was in that stock right away at 445, and I think it's probably going to still keep going for the whole day, because towards the end of the day, if it doesn't fade, you know, people that have missed the whole move will try to get it in for an intraday breakout. So scan for pre-market gappers, check the daily charts, right? And then the float is very important. Any type of PR breakout, if you can get the stock and it's under $100 million float, you'll tend to see big moves. You know, you won't see a 30% move on a stock with 2-3 billion float. It's just not. There's, you know, God himself can't buy enough shares. So just real simple stuff. I use Yahoo Finance, you know, PR Newswire, and you know, I'm always checking for these PRs. So right, intraday when we're doing these, you don't want to just buy, you got to wait for a setup. So look for, right, a pullback to some level of support, some type of flag, some type of base, and then when it starts breaking out of that level of consolidation, that's your buy spot, and they'll typically go. The biggest moves in the market are usually on PRs. News trumps technicals every day of the week. And so when you get stocks with news, right, it's in play that day. And so no matter what's happening, news will always beat the technicals.
Natural
so those
deodorant.
are the stocks that are always
Natural
gonna be in
lotion
play.
right here.
The other good thing is that if you're scanning at night and your scans stink and none of your watch list is blowing up, right, you can always go looking for PRs and earnings beats and things like that and have something to trade. And so just check these things, you know, every day in the morning. Take you 5 minutes and you'll tend to get good runs. You know, just flip through them.
These are all just examples of PR breakouts we stuck in here.
So, right, stock's strong in the morning. You get a nice move, consolidation. When it takes out the level of consolidation, then that's your day trade setup. That's where you're buying. And people are always afraid to chase stocks with gaps. They say, man, it's like I feel like I'm chasing the stock. It's up 5% or 6% pre-market. What you got to remember, though, is gaps are actually healthy. A gap is a sign of strength, that the stock is in play. And so don't be afraid of how much the stock is up, because the percentage that it's up doesn't matter, right? You're only trading setups. And so no matter what it gaps, it doesn't matter. I've bought stocks that are up 300% in one day, because as long as you have a setup intraday and you're not chasing it because you're buying near a consolidation or some type of base, you have a valid setup. So don't be worried about the gaps.
Oh, shit.
We got 5 minutes, I'm going to do this real quick. Rubber band setup. Knife catching is real tricky business, right? A lot of dicks get chopped off when you try to catch knives. But there is a way to do it, right? And it's called a rubber band setup. So what I'm doing on rubber band setup, I'm looking for a few things. Stock is tanking. If it breaks below the lower Bollinger Band, like completely out that candle, that tells me this stock is so extremely out, it's a very high probability that it'll bounce. So I'm using stochastic to measure how oversold it is. If it's under 20, it's oversold. If it's under 10, it's an extreme oversold. If it breaks the lower Bollinger, well, now you know it's very stretched to the downside also. And then what I'm doing to confirm that it's the reversal day, once I start seeing it hammer up, right where it thrusts down and then you see a hammer candle, which is essentially a candle with a big long tail in the bottom, that's your reversal day. And I tend to enter these stocks all the time. So this is a MGM. which we did like maybe a couple weeks ago.
So the first chart is it's getting beat down, so you know it's tanking, and then you see the hammer candle put in, so that alerts you. So then you go to the intraday chart and find your interest. What is stochastics?
Stochastics is just an indicator that measures overbought and oversold. It tends not to be effective for day trading, but for swing trading, it can help guide you with knowing, when a stock is getting really, really oversold. And indicators are one of those things that indicators don't give you buy signals. But what they do is they help you confirm what your eyes are telling you via the price action. And so any type of indicator I use, they're just confirming indicators, right? Price action is the only thing that pays, but you can help these indicators and overlay them once in a while to kind of bring up the probability of success on that type of trade. So I use stochastics under 20 oversold, over 80 overbought.
So we kind of stink at shorting usually, but this is one setup that we're really good at, and it's the same thing as a rubber band play. It's just the opposite. So it's a stock that has gone up, and it gets the last candle gets completely out of the upper Bollinger Band, and so that usually when that happens, then it's the next day or a few days later that the stock starts tanking. So it's really overbought outside of the upper Bollinger Band, and then you see that's what happens. So that's another type of play that you can look for. It's just the same setup, just opposite. Same thing for this one. And then it tanks the next day when it does finally get outside of the upper Bollinger Band. Yeah. What we do is that if they close on highs and we like how the market is that day, then we'll hold them overnight. Otherwise, we usually take our profits, or we hold half position. He said, do intraday breakouts, do we usually hold them overnight?
Because it's an intraday setup, right? So, I mean, if it's
you don't have a good
setup,
price.
You might want to sell it because you're using an intraday setup. I mean, it's meant for a day trade. That's true. So usually like a stock, if it can close on highs with some decent volume, there's a good shot it can gap up again. But what you got to remember, at least for like smaller price stocks, a lot of these things are turds. So if you don't want to have too much risk overnight. But if it does close at its highs, you would probably see a gap up the next day.
Okay, so I saw that Nate's going to cover red to green, right? So we'll just skip that one because I think we're running low. Yeah. He asked what the standard deviation is that we use.
Oh, for the Bollinger Bands? 20 and 2, yeah.
Okay, so, all right, this is his favorite play.
So this is the bottom booty bounce, and so it's essentially very similar to, right, just a base breakout. What I'm usually using is, right, crappy stock tanked a lot. When it comes out of the base, it breaks. What I find with a lot of the best ones is I use the 20-day moving average as the trigger. Usually if it can flatten out a little bit, and when the stock breaks above that, it typically will attract a lot of the buyers. And for small cap stocks, it seems like that's one of the triggers that a lot of people are using. So, you tend to get some pretty good price thrust from it.
Yeah.
Oh shit. I keep a $50,000 day trade account. For most of the time, I can always get $16,000 a month. Last year I made probably about 200 grand trading. I don't trade very big. And I told her she was at one time had too much money in her day trade account. I'm like, take it out. I'm like, for what we do, we don't need more than 50 grand, to scalp around stocks. I mean, it's just pointless. I do have some longer term like swing accounts, where I feel more comfortable keeping more money in it. But for day trading purposes, you just don't need it.
It really helps reduce our risk too, especially. We don't like to take big risk when we're trading stocks. So this is a bunch of examples of the bottom bounces. It's basically the same thing we talked about. The base breakouts consolidation is kind of the same setups. It's usually on really beaten down stocks. And then they just come out of a base and then they go. They finally put in the bottom, consolidate, and then go. Bear flex.
All right, so bear flex set. This is my favorite short setup. You'll find that this is probably the most high probability type.
We're running for 12 hours, man. So y'all better be ready.
A few things that I like to do.
So this live stream gonna be running till about 8 o'clock tonight.
I'm not shorting the actual breakdown. A lot of times what
ain't
I'm
no
looking for is like say
all
a stock
all
that's
study time,
down,
baby. We're gonna make this money.
volume,
I'm gonna make this
huge amount of
motherfucking
selling,
money.
below like say the 200-day moving average. And after a breakdown of that magnitude, because that's a long-term trend, what you'll see is some type of dead cat bounce, some type of relief bounce back into the breakdown spot. And so it'll break down, and then it'll slowly rise up for a few days and kind of get close back to where it broke down from. And so what I do is I tend to short the stocks there, and then I'll keep a stop over that moving average and then just ride it back down.
So there's 3 types, and one is a big breakdown below a moving average. And so this is an example of that. So you see if the stock finally broke down below this 208 moving average and it consolidates, it's just kind of like a breakout, but it's a breakdown. So then when it breaks the lows, you buy it and it tanked even further. So then the other type is a wedge pennant type pattern of a breakdown. So it's just the opposite of a bull flag. It's called a bear flag. And they look like this. So it's a lot of selling, then it flags in a bear pattern, and then it breaks down again. Here's another. You can see all these, this is like the same chart, but it's 2 bear flags on the same chart, so you could have played this twice. And then the last one is a breakdown pullback to resistance, and this is kind of like one of our favorite things to do, because what happens is you get a stock that tanks. So you know there's a lot of sellers in the stock. And then it has what we call a dead cat bounce, and it bounces back to a level of resistance. And the volume's really not that great when it bounces back. So you know that it's just a dead cat bounce. So you can reshort it at the resistance level, and usually it falls back from there. So this one you can see it bounce back into this moving average.
Okay.
And as soon as it happened, then the next day it tanked. That's what's called a bear flag. I mean a bear setup.
So Timothy Sykes, right? I'm only gonna say this real quick, man. The reason why these guys are making so much money, you know, like say for example, this guy, he said he made $200,000 for the month. Well, he's been doing this a lot. He's been doing this a while. You know what I mean? He's not no rookie. But there's rookies like Roland Wolf. You know what I mean? Big shout out to Roland Wolf, man. Good job, bro. He turned $4,000 into $300,000 less than a year, like 6-7 months, like 8 months. You know what I mean? All within a year's time. So he turned $4,000 into $300,000 in 7 months. But the key is, the reason why they're making this money is because they're just doing exactly what the fuck we're doing right now. Is watching video lessons. They're watching video lessons 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 hours a day. So I'm gonna start making videos as of today, and I'm gonna be doing, and this will push me too. You know what I mean? This will push me to, you know, when I just don't feel like doing it, or you know what I mean, I just, you know what I mean, I just whatever. I got the video, you know, because the video obviously is, look, I'm gonna say, look, I'm gonna do 12 hours, 13, 14, 15 hours of study time, you know, and I got the motherfucking videos to push me and be like, hey, look, you're supposed to be studying, you know what I mean? But on top of that, but that's how these guys are making all this motherfucking money. Steven Ducks, he turned 27,000 into 900,000 in about 10 months. You know what I'm saying? And that's just because they continually study. They're watching video lessons back to back. You know, motherfucker, they're giving shit to Steven Ducks because he was literally watching shit while he was on the fucking toilet. You know what I mean? On the toilet. Pretty much what I was doing. I drank that salt water and I got flushed out. That's another thing about salt water in the morning. If you take salt water, you start fucking with the salt water. If you take it in the morning and you let it sit for an hour, there's a good chance you're gonna flush out. So be ready to hit the motherfucking toilet once you drink that water. Cause you seen me, I hit that water, maybe 20 minutes later, I was already flushing. I was flushing that shit out. So don't be like, oh man, that shit makes me, you know, that makes me flush. You know what I mean? It makes me want to take a shit. Well, that's a good thing. If you're taking a shit, you're flushing all that shit out your system. You know what I mean? If you're not taking a fucking shit every day, then that's not a good thing. Well, anyways, the salt will help you flush out. It'll flush all that shit, all those toxins out your body. And that's why you'll start to feel better. But anyways, So yeah, we ain't fucking around, man. We doing 12, 13, 14, 15 hours, man. So you're gonna get a lot of videos in the next few starting today. Before I wasn't showing videos like that, but now instead of showing you hours of driving, you're just gonna be seeing hours of fucking listening to video lessons. Yeah.
Same thing for this one. Tanked.
So if you ain't about making money, man, this ain't the channel for you. This channel is all about making money. No matter what the fuck it is. We could be doing trucks. One day we could be hauling water, we can haul sand. You know what I mean? This ain't no motherfucking trucking channel. This channel is a fucking money channel. You know what I mean? So if you're thinking about making money, I'm gonna put you on some shit and then you go do your own shit. But yeah, this channel is specifically for motherfuckers that want to make money. You know what I mean? If you want to make money, you're in a good spot. Whether you want to do trucking, haul oil, you want to haul sand, you want to haul water, I can answer all those questions. If you want to do stocks, I can answer all those questions. I can put you in the right direction. And then you do whatever the fuck you want to do with that. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you come in my channel, motherfucker, you gonna learn how to make money. You ain't gonna be broke no more. That's for damn sure. You ain't gonna be broke. You got a few options. You can either do trucking, right? And if that's what you want to do and that's all you want to do, fine. You can do that and you can make money. If you want to do stocks, motherfucker, you gonna make money.
Bounce back into this resistance level, then the next day, tank some more. Another example, and that's it. Got anything to say?
That's right, boy.
No,
it's about money, man.
Usually, I mean, when you're doing like a shorting type of thing.
But I tell you what, the stocks ain't gonna be easy because you gotta, like I said, you gotta watch these video lessons, every day. It's just like a job. That's basically what the job. It's not a job. It's a business. It's your business. With a job, you gotta answer some stupid motherfucker. You know what I mean? You gotta answer. Not all of them stupid, but most of the motherfuckers, they figure you just you like a slave. You know what I mean? You check in when they want you to check in. You do what they want you to do. So basically, you're just a slave. You know what I'm saying? And they paying you a certain wage for your service. Well, fuck that. You know what I mean? Fuck being somebody's slave. Fuck being somebody's do boy. Make your own motherfucking money. And stocks, man, they'll do that for you. Now, I don't know about you, motherfucker, but I'm sure you ain't got no 6 figures in your account. So what's the problem? You working, right? You working. So why not do something that's gonna put 6, 7 figures in your account in a year's time? I'm not saying everybody's gonna make $100,000 in a year, but guess what? There's motherfuckers out there that are dedicated. You know what I mean? When I say dedicated, I'm dedicated. Shit, you see my channel. When I do something, I'm dedicated no matter what the fuck I do. Whether it's boxing, whether it's fucking working out, whether it's driving a motherfucking truck, I'm dedicated. Don't matter what the fuck I do. Especially if it, like I said, I'm dedicated. But the reason why those guys are different from everybody else is because everybody else doesn't like to watch video lessons. You know what I mean? So if you want to make $100,000, $5,000, $10,000, $100,000 in a day, or in a month, or a few weeks, you got to study. You know what I mean? That's just the key, and it's just that simple. But it ain't that simple. Motherfuckers ain't trying to sit in front of their screen 10 hours, 14, 16, 17 hours in a day watching fucking video lessons. You know what I'm saying? Well, they say if something is really that great, meaning if you can make so much money, it ain't gonna come easy. If it come easy, then everybody would be doing it. You know what I'm saying? So the uneasy part is doing the video lessons, watching the video lessons, and then retaining what the fuck you learn, and going back into the market when the market is open, and doing exactly. You're not gonna be perfect, man. The market, when you're in the market, especially when you're learning, you ain't gonna be perfect. So don't be like, oh man, I lost. You know what I mean? Look, I don't know why it didn't click for me, but yesterday it really clicked for me yesterday, because I lost tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, man. You know what I'm saying? I say at least $200,000. You know what I mean? Since I've been trading stocks of my own capital. And this time around, I'm already down like 12,000, 13,000. That's because I've been putting in big ass fucking positions. So what happens when you put a big ass position in? You lose a lot of motherfucking money. You know what I mean? Now, the realization and the eye opener for me was, wow, I've already known to put in small positions by the greatest trader that ever lived, Jesse Livermore. I read his book, and I recommend you read his book too. The Renaissance of a Trader by Jesse Livermore. Just pull up Jesse Livermore. It says Renaissance something. That's the book you want to read. Anyways, he talks about it. Go to my Instagram. I got Instagram. It's FUKU. Same thing as the channel. FUKU Money. And I got 1,200. I got 1,200 slides, man. It's a 1,200 picture gallery. And basically what it is just quotes of Jesse Livermore. You know, Jesse Livermore was a top trader in our lifetime. You know what I mean? He turned pretty much pennies on the dollar into, you know, back in those days it was like a few $100 million, which in our time is a few $100 billion or whatever it is, right? But anyways, one thing he talks about is when you put in a trade, put a small position in. You know what I mean? You're like, damn, I don't want to do that. Your emotions. This is how I was thinking. I'm not gonna speak for you. How I was thinking is like, man, I don't want to do that. I want to go big. So when it does hit and it starts to break out, I start winning. But guess what? A lot of times when I go big like that, and I put in the first initial position to see if my plan is right, I end up being wrong, and it fucking goes against me. You know what I mean? Because I still haven't really, you know, overcome and really understand the market in the way the setups are. I didn't really understand the setups. So now I seen the setup. Obviously because I've been studying my ass off. So I seen the setup and I wanted to try it, and I didn't want to lose a lot of money to see if I was right. And I just started off with 100 shares. That's it. And when I was down maybe like $5 off 100 shares when the stock was running. And another thing I realized that I did wrong was I was actually adding to my position into strength, and that's not a good plan. You want to add, because I was shorting, you want to add it into weakness. You don't want to be adding into strength, because the more you add, the more negative you're going to be. So versus me being down $5 every time it would go up, you know what I mean? Now I'm negative $10 every time it goes up. So every time it goes up a tick, I'm losing $10 at a time, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, because I keep adding into strength. You don't want to do that. So that's one thing I learned, but I was learning, and I wasn't down that much. I was only down like maybe $75, maybe $100, $200 tops. You know what I mean? Because I was getting a little excited. You know, these are things that I'm doing wrong, that I'm telling you that I'm doing wrong, and that I need to fix. You know what I mean? So those are the things I did wrong yesterday. I was adding to the strength what I shouldn't done, but I won't do it again because I know that, and I'm reprimanding myself on YouTube, so you know I won't make the same fucking mistakes over and over again. But that's the key, man. You're gonna like I said, don't get down when you start off like this. You know what I mean? You study, and you're like, all right, I think I'm ready. All right, and then you really get in, and you got real money online, right? And you get burned. Don't worry about that, man. That's just a lesson. You know what I mean? It's a journey. You know what I mean? It's baby steps. You know what I'm saying? Little by little, you'll learn something on the way. You know, you're not going to get everything all in one day. You get what I'm saying? You're not going to get everything all in one day, but with Timothy Sykes and his video lessons and his seminars and his one-on-one coaching, you can be pretty much self-efficient within a few months. You know what I'm saying? You could be self-efficient within a few months, and then within that time frame, not only are you learning, you're making money along the way. So really, you don't even need a job. You know what I'm saying? Because your job, what's your job pay you? You know, average job pay you maybe what, $500, $400 a week. You know, motherfucker, you make that in one day and 30 minutes, an hour. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you just learn it on the way. But yeah, don't let it get to you, man. When you make a mistake or you lose money. Losing money is just a process, man. It's an experience, and it's basically a lesson. You know what I mean? So don't be thinking, well, damn, I lost money, I failed, I'm a failure. No, man, that's not how this game goes. Actually, failing in the market is a good thing because it's a lesson. That's all this shit is. If you lose money, those are just lessons. And if you ain't strong and you just a weak bitch, then yeah, the market will suck you up and spit you right out. You know what I mean? But if you strong and you persistence and you persevere, yeah, you know, skies will be the limit. You know, and those students of Timothy's, man, should be motivational for everybody because they persevere all that shit. You know, even when times were bad, they were losing money. You know what I mean? I'm sure everybody takes a loss. You know, like this one guy, I forget his name. He lost over I don't even know how much he lost in the beginning. I think he said he lost like 20 grand. You know, he lost like 20 grand till he was catching on how the game was. You know what I mean? So it took him 20,000 to learn. It took me almost 200,000. You know what I mean, to learn, and I'm still fucking losing. You know what I mean? But I'm losing a fraction of what I've lost in the past. You know what I mean? So not that serious.
You're always wanting to manage your risk, so you want to be able to find entries, you know, in stocks where there's an easy level to put your stop. And so we like doing those type of breakdowns because you know where your stop is going to be, right? It's going to be right over that moving average or right over that level of resistance. So you have a very defined risk. You're going to know exactly, you know, what you're risking on the trade. So, you know, it's like if you have 500 shares or 1,000 shares, your stop is, you know, very defined, then you can rest easy because you know what your max loss is on that stock. And so, you know, that's one of the big things that I like to do is I hate losses. So I like to keep, you know, very good stops at key levels so that I know exactly how much money I got on the table that I could potentially lose if all my trades blow up.
You said, are you talking about hard stops or mental stops?
I use mental stops on small cap stocks. On regular stocks, I use hard stops. Small cap stocks, especially Amex stocks, the market makers are just shady and they'll gun you down and they'll take your shares. But if you're a new trader, I wouldn't even worry about that. Just use the hard stops. You know, you may get taken out once in a while, but you know what? If you take 20 trades and somebody guns your stop one time, who cares? Because what you want to do is really prevent the big blow up trades, right? And if you use mental stops, there's a good shot when it starts tanking, you're not going to stop out. I mean, I've seen it with 100 new traders in our chat room. They refuse to sell even though their mental stop was broken. So I always tell people use hard stops for everything. That's it.
Kunal, you know, is banking on MOBI. He bought it in the mid-4s. It's in the 5s now. There's actually a nice little contract with Sina, which owns the Chinese Twitter. And that would be, even though I'm not great at buying breakouts, you know, straight from my penny stocking DVD, you know, buying a stock that...
I'm going to tell you guys about one of my subs. He is a prime example of what I was just saying and what I've been doing the last couple months, last 3 months. That's why I'm down like $12,000, man, maybe $13,000. So reason why is because I was put in too big of a fucking position right off the back. You know, if I find a stock I like, I'm gonna buy 2,000 shares. That's way too much, motherfucking. That's way too many shares to be putting in all at one time. Unless you got over $100,000 in your account. If you got $100,000 or whatever, that's fine. But you know, you can average up or average down. You know what I'm saying? You know, if the motherfucker starts to go against you, but that's not a good strategy either. So get that out your head. You know. But anyways, but you know, if you got a big ass account. You know, you got 100,000, 500,000, you know, 2, 3 million, 5 million, $20 million in account. You know, you put 2,000 shares in. You know what I mean? For you to average up, if you got a $5 million account, $10 million account, or a $500,000 account, if you got 2,000 shares in and it goes against you, it's nothing for you to fucking average up again. You know, another 2,000 fucking shares. But you're adding more risk to your portfolio. You know what I'm saying? You're adding more fucking risk to it. But like I said. Like I did. I was put in too big of a position right off the bat. You don't want to do that. You just want to start off with, you know, something really, really small just to see if the motherfucker is really going the way you plan. Like I want to make money on the way down on this one stock. Like I said again, I only put 100 shares in. And when it started going against me, I was only down maybe $5, $10. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't shit. You know? They call that, like Jesse Livermore would say, you want to probe. And that's basically what that is. It's like sending a probe to Mars. You know, we're not going to move the whole goddamn civilization all the way to Mars, you know what I mean? And be like, all right, we're going to set up shop here, even though, you know, we don't really know what the fuck is going on Mars. You know, we don't even know if they got water. We don't even know if we could breathe the air. You know, we don't know, you know, if they got other motherfuckers over there living. different type of species. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what the fuck is going on over there. So what we do? We send a probe out there just to see what the fuck is out there. We want to know if they got water. We want to know if they got, you know, aliens out there. We want to know, you know, are we can we breathe this air? You know what I'm saying? You know, how's the day? You know what I mean? Are we gonna be able to, you know, is there sun? You know, they probe. We probe, and we try to figure out, are there's other planets out there we can live in? We ain't just gonna pick everybody up and be like, all right, we're gonna go find somewhere to stay. Hell no, we're gonna stay right here first, and we're gonna see what the fuck is out there first. And then, you know, once they say, all right, look, we got another place out here, it's, you know, it has everything, you know, it's just like Earth, exactly like Earth. All right, we're gonna haul ass, we're gonna go over there, and we're gonna set up shop. You know, same thing with stocks. You know, you're not gonna just pick up all your fucking shit and just move in. You know what I'm saying? And be like, all right, I'm gonna live here. You don't even know what the fuck is going on over there. You know what I'm saying? Same exact shit. So yeah, when you put in a position, start real fucking small. I don't give a fuck if you put 2 shares or 5 shares or, you know, 10 shares. It don't matter. The smaller the better, because you just seeing what, you know, because the smaller the position in, the least amount of money you losing. You can lose it down to the cent. You know what I mean? What the fuck it is.
It is kind of been beaten.
But back to what I was saying, my boy Professor, he said he did that Tuesday. He put in way too big of a position, and he was down $3,200. That's a lot of money, man. That's huge. And that's what I was losing too. I was losing $2,000 at a time, $1,000 at a time, $700 at a time. You know, all that shit adds up, man. You get what I'm saying? That shit adds up, and after a while, you got no account, because it just wipes you out. You going in too big. We going in too big. I'm going in too big. You know, so now I know. I know now. Go big when your plan works out. When a stock goes to run, when you put in the position, because I'm trying to make money on the way up, and it just keeps going up, add, motherfucker. That's when you need to be adding. You know, go big when that motherfucker starts to keep cranking up. You see the volume crank up, and you see the tickers keep going green. Add to that motherfucker. That's what I'm doing. This motherfucker with this stock I'm in now, XNET. That motherfucker stocks keep going red. I'm gonna keep adding. I'm gonna keep adding until that bitch say I can't add no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking to make 13, 15 on the low end, 4,000, but on the high end, 13, 14, maybe $20,000 next week if this bitch crashed. And last week it did crash. So like I said before, stocks are like people, man. They're fucking predictable. You know what I'm saying? They predictable. You know, if a stock did something last week or 2 months ago, there's a good chance that motherfucker's gonna do the same exact motherfucking thing, which was it fucking ran up and then it fucking crashed. You know what I'm saying?
No one really cares about MOBI, and they had a big contract, you know, with a giant social media player. So congrats to Kunal and his team on getting that. This is my play, OPTT, otherwise known as just annoying. You know, it's not an ideal chart pattern, and that's why one of my slides I said you have to have expectations. So normally, if this was an ideal chart pattern and I'm shorting, you know, I was coming in today, I was short 14,000 shares at 438, you know, down 7 cents, I would probably just take the $1,000 because it's not breaking down as much as I wanted. Earlier today when I was speaking, I was up 2,000 and then I was up 4,000. This is why sometimes I don't go for the home runs. I just take the profits. You know, making $4,000 in a morning, coulda, woulda, shoulda. I should have taken it all. I probably wouldn't have gotten like 410, 411-ish. I probably could have gotten 415, so I would have made about 3,000. I did cover some. I covered 3,000 shares just because it wasn't cracking 404. It never got close to cracking 404. Some of you guys have come up to me. You're saying you're shorting today like at 415, 420, 410. I don't know why you're shorting just above support. I hope I've taught you to short when support cracks. My goal on this is to cover in the high threes, but when it's holding support right here at the low was 408, it didn't even touch 404, and then, you know, the big magnet of 4 is the ultimate target. It's still in the danger zone. I love the fact that it's under this 430 kind of sideways price action, although you can see it's choppy. You know, it went from 430 to 408, then a quick spike. You know, at 450, it was only like a few hundred shares. The real spike was only up to 440. Now it's hanging in the 420s. You know, as I'm watching this, okay, now it's fading. Now it's down to 420, actually taking out the bid. So it has broken this kind of 425 support level, which it was at midday. I also re-added to my short at 435 because there was one 5,000 share buyer. That kind of 5,000 share bidder with no other real big buyers has been throughout this whole run up. One or two big buyers, and I have to believe that is the promoter Levitt or somebody who works with him trying to hold it up, trying to scare people. Kunal talked about this, like, you can try and scare other traders on the bid and ask. So if you're short a big position and you want to scare other people from buying it, so you put up a fake order of trying to sell 50,000 shares, and most people aren't going to want to buy into that. Every now and then you could get hit, like someone might be like, yo, screw you, you liar, and buy 50,000 shares. That doesn't usually happen, but when this cracked $5 a share right here, there was a 23,000 share sell order, which I talked about on profiting, and that was the beginning of the end. So now we're fading in 420s, teens, 415. It just goes down every time I talk. I like that. I should talk more. No, it's 418 by 420. So I'm up because now I'm short 16,000 shares. I've already taken profits. I covered 3,000 shares at like 417. So I made 20 cents, roughly $600, and that's trading. It's not ideal. In an ideal world, it just cracks below 404 and cracks below 4, and I make $5,000 or $7,000. Awesome. That would be great. And in the real world, it doesn't always crack, and then you have to understand, do you want to cover your entire position? Do you want to, this isn't a black and white world. You don't need to be all in or no position at all. You can take some profits. I'm very glad that I took $600 in profits today. I didn't want to. I don't want to just, cover 3,000 shares and have 12,000 remaining, but it's the right thing to do. And this is why when it failed to crack right here, actually, you can see it on this chart right here at 340. I was 15,000 shares overnight short, similar to like right now, and I was expecting a big morning panic. When it held that 340, and it didn't even get close to really breaking, it went down to 338, but I was like, you know what? There's big buyers at 435 and 430. There's no big morning panic. So I covered 13,000 of my 15,000 shares short, and I made like 6 cents. I mean, on this time, at least there was a 20 cent drop, and I made 20 cents a share. But it's the same kind of thing, although on that time, it really kept going higher. Now you can see the volume is crap, and we're protected by this whole big drop, which scares momentum buyers, and this midday buy-in, which probably freaked out a lot of weak shorts. So I have 2 very good things in my favor. 3, fading volume, the weak shorts have been scared out, and the momentum buyers have been scared out. So the odds are on my side. We just need a little time. And this thing is choppy. As I said, it makes a big move, and then it's kind of choppy for 3 days. So now we have a big move, and now it's been choppy for a day and a half. So my expectations, it's going pretty well. I wish it could be better. Right now it's 422 by 416. Lots of sellers at 422. 200,000 shares traded so far, and I'm short 16,000. Any questions on my take on OPTT before we get to other stuff? Because I've talked about it a little bit. Good. One thing I wanted to mention as we're heading towards the bottom of the 9th inning for this conference, we're now on Investimonials. I would love to get your feedback. I'll be emailing you guys a link along with the report that Aaron Wise has helped prepare, the academic study on the promoter. So I would love your feedback, good and bad. What can I do better? What do we do right? Last year we had some amazing reviews, and just talking with some of you guys so far, I think that we've done pretty well. How have we done? By round of applause. Is this good so far?
Fucking chairs in this hotel.
Cool. I'm glad.
Terrible, man.
We're gonna keep trying to.
It's to the point where I might have to order me a fucking
with
office
with
chair in this
cool new
motherfucker.
stuff like Indicator Pro and bringing in a racially diverse
That's
crowd.
the thing I just wanted to do.
And
I think I'm about to order me a fucking office chair.
See, I'm getting
the chairs
more
they got
PC.
here, fucking terrible.
Tim, I really don't like your jokes. Try to just talk about stocks, okay? Thank you. And that's fine. I've only gone through somehow 30 slides in all my little talks. I have 50 slides left. So I'm going to just pound it out. The scheduling change, you know, obviously Bulls on Wall Street ran over. They did a fantastic job. Big up to Mary Beth Willoughby. Look at her. Look at her. And Kunal, but he doesn't need a round of applause. You know, they went over, so we're about a half hour behind. The good news, or I guess it's bad news, but Tim Bowen is not going to speak this afternoon, so I'll just take over his. You know, he is a part-time trader. He runs a full-time internet business, and you know, he gave me this whole long spiel about how like he's got contracts and deadlines. He's got life in the way. So I understand that. He's promised to make a video of what his presentation would be, so we'll be emailing you his presentation later. But you know, it's a great example. You know, it's like Ashia Burton who can't be here because she's a single mother of two. You know, hello. You know, sometimes you can't make it. Sometimes you can't make a trade, and that happens. So my team loves that. They all gave me shit for it. They said, you shouldn't do this. You know what, team? Fuck you. She can do what she wants. Yes! Thank you to the one person who likes it. So let's get back to something serious. The framework. This framework, over the next 50 slides, you're just going to be freaked out at how, you know, looking at all this in hindsight is one thing. If I didn't have any trade alerts, if I was just saying, you know, here's a chart pattern, this is how it worked out, it was perfect. The fact is that nearly all of these I alerted real time. You have a lot of the people in the room here who are profiting. I profited on a lot of them. I messed up on a lot of them. I missed out. A lot of you guys missed out. And the key is that in the next year, until next year's conference, or, you know, until some of you older guys, you know, can't make it next year, I mean, there's going to be many more opportunities like this. And all I want to do is prepare you for these. And it's, you know, again, the patterns might evolve. You know, there are some promoters in our world now. They have, you know, infiltrated our ranks. And that's cool because as I was talking to, you know, some of them last night, like it's fine if you're a promoter or if you're a short seller, if you're a buyer. I think that you can make money in all different angles here. That's just me. So this is ESYL, Asian company. You know, they claim to have some amazing technology. I think I did a research video on them for somebody. I don't know. I make a lot of videos on just how to read their SEC filings. But their SEC filings basically said they have no cash. They did raise like $1 million or $2 million, but when you're coming out with like a supposedly revolutionary mobile device, you're going to need more than $1 million or $2 million to really develop it. You know, you're competing against like the iPad, which has hundreds of millions, and the iPad has been in development for over a decade. There's no chance of success for this product. It doesn't matter because it's a pump and dump. There is a mailer. You have the nice little ramp. Number 2 is where it's going up, but I really would only buy it. You know, actually this number 2 should probably be moved over here. You know, right here when it breaks the former high. And you can see here that it's flat for, you know, a day and before. Then it really starts ramping. And then 3 days in a row, you have a morning spike followed by a strong close, morning spike, sideways, morning spike, uptrending, supernova, crash. You know, we see this again and again. Last year, I could point to this exact same chart on EMGE. Who here played EMGE? You remember? Reaper's not in the room. Good. All right. Well, oh, he is. He's just not present in mind. Exactly. So someone touched his hair. This is what happens. I warned you not to touch Reaper's hair. You touch it, it's all messed up. He's like Samson. Anyways, you have these gap ups and these morning spikes. You can buy those. I'd be scared shitless to buy them because the promoters would probably dump it on me, but other people can. There were some shares to short. I actually bought the dip here at 140. I was a little off on my dip buying as it went all the way to 1, and I got out. I think I made or lost a few cents a share. The breakdown was kind of like OPTT, which is now 417 by 421, so I'm up 15 cents. So I'm up 2,000. You know, you had this big drop from 2, and then it kind of consolidated for a few minutes at 140. I thought that was the bottom, and it wasn't. What's up, Captain Puker? What dropped? OPTT? Woo! 412 by 418. I like this. Maybe Levitt is on the live stream. Levitt, are you there? No, he can't wake up this early. He's all hungover from his Coke. And I just say this lovingly or jokingly, but it's actually true. I mean, I've heard from several people that Levitt is a big cokehead, and that's why his pumps are so messed up, because he's messed up, which is sad. We need a reliable stock promoter. You know, think about, where's Greg? Is Greg in the room? If Greg were a stock promoter, you know, like, oh my God, his pumps would go from like 1 to 100. He would be disciplined. He would be like, promote like a trainer, you know, like, be disciplined. No Coke, only vegetables, all juices, and he would get like $10 million compensation. Think about it. Think about it. Just consider it. I know it's wrong ethically, but you're a vegetarian, so your thoughts are all messed up anyways, in my mind. So this was actually, I bought it at 140, and I messed up, and it went down further. But, you know, actually, in hindsight, 140 was a decent dip buy, because then it went to 180. So you can try and buy the dip, but watch out when you buy the dip and it goes lower. You know, it's very similar to OPTT, where when it crashed from 5 to 4, the 450s, and it bounced a little bit, that's where I covered my short. But then it went down to 404. So if you're thinking about dip buying, think about waiting for the second or even the third wave. The more waves down, because then it freaks out and it fakes out the initial dip buy people, and then they sell, which causes, you know, more panic. I'm a big proponent of waiting for multiple waves. You know, even when you're shorting a stock and you get caught short early, and then you get bought in, and then you have to, you know, buy back later. You know, it creates multiple waves. So the more waves you can wait, like OPTT, you know, if we're looking at a daily chart, I mean, this is the third or fourth spike up. Which is when OPTT crashed. And OPTT crashed very similar to this, okay? You know, and OPTT went up very similar to this. All these pumps are very similar. So this was a good dip buying opportunity. Then we had 2 number 6s where it was like kind of a dead pump bounce, you know, like where you're just short into the strength when it starts fading a little bit, and then it crashes. You know, this is an intraday chart. This is all like within 2 weeks, which is awesome. From 80 cents to 2, back down to 80 cents. Nice. OPTT 410 by 414. So now I'm up like, well, still like 25 cents. Here's Jammin'. Everybody give a big round of applause for Jammin'. This was fantastic. Oh my God. Where's Harry Ye? Yeah, tell CEO on, like, that's amazing, bitches. Wait, we looked it up. What was that character's name in The Hangover? Mr. Chow. So it's not Mr. On. I'm sorry for thinking the same thing. But I just wanted to say, I wanted to do my impression. I don't even think he says that, but it's something funny. Anyways, this is a pump and dump, okay? This whole little run-up, that's manipulation. You could compare this to Rays right now, RAYS, where it's up a little bit, it's up a little bit. Oh, it drops a little to shake people out, and then it breaks out, and then it goes fucking supernova. And this is beautiful. You know, it's the same pattern. The beautiful thing, the best part, well, you can't really see it on this chart, but, you know, if we had a daily chart, or actually I have a few charts of this one. Yes! No, that's different. Shoot. I messed up. Alright, well, LEXG is pretty similar, but this level right here at like 350, this is where Bill Lynn bought in, right? You bought the breakout right here. 330. Did you buy right here or here? Do you remember? The second one. So you waited for it to break out and then consolidate, and then you bought the breakout of the previous high. Big round of applause for Bill Lynn. That is an amazing, and it was just what, 1,000, 2,000 shares? All right, yeah, 1,000 shares. Actually, I do have yours highlighted later. You know, the breakout right here, and then it goes supernova in one day from 3 all the way up to 6. Gorgeous. And then it, you know, you had the drop. I shorted this. I had my first good, like, perfect short. I shorted into a spike. We'll get to the chart in a bit. Right around 6, and I covered pretty quickly. and then I missed this whole drop from 5 down to 3 in the morning. But then you had a nice little bounce to the 4s. Then it went from 4 down to 1 in about 3 days. And there was actually a good buying opportunity. Nate, you got this, right? Where'd you buy in at? What? Yeah. 110, and what'd you sell it at? You made what? Oh, it's okay. So you're in the low ones, then you sold in the 120s, 130s?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. No microphone. He talks very loud. Just kidding. What?
It's 12 o'clock.
Yes. So the question is, what is the difference between this and Mary Beth's pattern? And, you know, Mary Beth trades real companies mostly. You know, this is a blatant pump and dump. So hers are much more, you know, tradable. This is, I don't know how to describe it, but I mean, this is a pump and dump. And that's, she trades like a lot of NASDAQ small caps and stuff like that. You know, this is ideal. This was fading. You can actually watch the live stock. I have live video of this when it was hanging around here in the 5s. I had bio run up on, and I was like, you know, at 584 it started fading. I was like, this is the beginning of the end. And then the next day, you know, that Monday it was at 3, and I'm still to this day pissed at bio run up for making me do that show. It happens, you know. But now then it faded, and it came out pretty quick. Came out very well. You know, when it dropped down to 1. The promoter sent out another barrage of emails, and I thought about buying. I think I might have tried to put in an execution. I didn't get it, you know, and it went from 1 to 3 in 3 days. I mean, buying on the dip, you don't have to wait for all of this junk to play out. Buying on the dip here, you know, from 6 down to 4, it's right back to 6 in a day. Right here, you know, from 3 to 4 intraday, and then this one is awesome, just 1 to 3 in a day and a half because of the new emails. And the promoters reframed it. They said this stock has been, you know, crushed far too quickly. Here's LEXG. This is even a bigger round of applause for this. This is the mother. Come on, respect this. Respect this. This is beautiful. You promoters out there,
Boy is fucking
thank you.
passionate about his shit.
Thank you for being
boy.
competent for once. For once. Look at this. This is all daily. And I bought this right around here, and I sold it here. Oh wait, they're just 1 block away. You know, I was in and out far too quickly. The time to buy is this technical breakout right here. When it starts, you know, you get a volume spike, and you have a previous high break. So this is what, you know, I still might buy Raise if it ever impresses me. What is Raise at? Raise is at 174. That is not impressing me. You know, I since I know that I don't have a lot of patience, I can't just, you know, hold this crap from you know, and this is, in this chart, this looks like this is not a volatile stock. I mean, from here to here, I mean, this is from like 1 to 2 nearly. So this is volatile just compared to what it did. It's nothing, which is why I say, you know, buy this stock when it's breaking out. I couldn't buy it at anything above 3, 4, 5, 6. I just thought it was totally crazy. But I'll tell you, the bounce right here at number 5 intraday, you know, you can't see it on this, but it bounced from the 3s to the 6s in about 2 hours. And then, you know, it even bounced for a few days before then really tanking. So the 1 through 7 pattern plays out, and you can see how volume fades towards the end when the promotion is over. This is all so that the promoters can dump their stock. Nate, how many shares do you think were dumped of LEXG, if you had to guess? 10 million. At an average of 3, 4, 5, 6. That's some good money. Greg, think about that. Think about it, Greg. Are you thinking about it? All right. This is BCCI. This is just another coffee stock. This was running Barista's Coffee. This was running because of jamming. You know, you have the same kinds of opportunities to buy the technical breakout right here. then it kind of gets choppy, but you can buy the technical breakout right there. Then it just gets outrageous, and it's a short. This is kind of more choppy, and it's also, this is only 8 cents to 80 cents, so it's a much lower stock. I don't like trading stocks under $1 like that. I didn't even trade this, but it's fun to see that it works if you want to do that. And, you'll see this a lot of the time where, with LEXG, LTUM also jumped because they're in the same industry. CPOW, this was one I actually did profit, and this was interesting because I got to tell this story. I like talking with promoters, and I like the fact that, as much as some people in here think I'm like the greedy Jew who makes all this money, as one of the promoters would say in his British accent, "You're a fucking peon, man." And the backstory on that is that I went to the Vegas affiliate expo, affiliate summit, where, like you have these people who promote different products. They promote, the acai berry. They promote vitamins and like, lose a lot of weight online. And he's like, listen, I'm moving from vitamins to penny stocks. Like it doesn't matter what he's promoting. Vitamins, penny stocks, it's all bullshit, right? Some of you vitamins people, Greg, don't take that personally. Although, wait, you are a vitamin person and you could be a promoter. This could be perfect from you. You're moving from vitamins to promotion. You should talk to this guy if I had his number. Anyways, I did a whole blog post on this. I shorted this. I don't remember. I shorted this somewhere up here and I covered too quickly as usual. I made a few $1,000s. I think I made like 10,000. And the promoter was like, you look like that prick Tim Sykes. And I was like, I am that prick Tim Sykes. He's like, oh man, you shorted CPOW the other day. And I was like, yeah, I did. And he's like, you made like 10,000. I was like, how do you know that? He's like, I follow your website. This is a terrible accent, by the way. And I was like, cool, yeah, it was a good short. Thank you for that pump and dump. He's like, man, you're a fucking peon. And he's like this, you're a fucking peon. And I was like, how's that? I made 10,000 in a few days. He's like, my chaps made 5 million. I don't know if that's like 5 million quid or pounds or whatever, but he made a lot more than me. And so I always think about how, some of you guys think like, oh, so Sykes makes like a few million a year. This guy fucking made $5 million pumping this from, roughly 10 cents to 50 cents. You can see the volume got up to 100 million one day. That's fantastic. So there's much more money on the promotion side. It's all or mostly offshore because, the SEC probably can't touch them. It's just amazing. And this was shortable at Interactive Brokers. I think, was this the one on the farm? Yeah. I think I did a blog post. If you search my my website for frickin' farm, FRIGGIN, you do a Google map search and that's what pops up. Let's see how I'm doing on time. Nate has to start in a little bit. Here's CPMCF. This was another one that I got. I started shorting this right here. And I was far too early, and I averaged up. I got shares here at 60 cents, special broker. Interactive Brokers was long out of shares. The reason why I shorted at 24 cents was not because I necessarily want to short a 20-cent stock. I didn't think it would go this high, and Interactive Brokers was running out of shares. So it was an opening kind of position, and that's the dangers of just shorting, an opening position just for the heck of it, because there are risks. I thought that I was safe because it was up from 6 cents, which was just totally ridiculous. So shorting here, I actually tried boxing this in the 30s. I fucked that up somehow. I made like a few $100s, and then it went to like 80 cents the next day while I was eating my truffle ravioli in Venice. Ruined that truffle ravioli. It was so good for a few minutes. And then it faded, and it fades into oblivion. The volume dies. There's a longer term case for shorting, the long kiss goodnight, if you believe in that pattern.
Oh man.
SSOL, there's not always a big ramp ahead of time. Sometimes the promotions, when you see this email report that I'm going to send out, there's different promoters. They have different tactics and they have different characteristics of their pumps. This was, 3 and done, or actually 4 and done, but it was from 3 cents to 10 cents. I shorted it up in here, and then I covered here, and like I shorted, I think like at 9, and I covered at like 6. So I made a good % profit, but you don't have to cover so quickly. And I know somebody asked a question, when you're shorting for the long term, what happens during the bounce? I would initiate a longer term short position on a bounce, like right here, number 6. when it bounces from 2.5 to 4.5 cents. I don't recommend shorting stocks under 10 cents. Most of you guys don't have that kind of money, and it's good because you have to put up $2.50 a share. It's very risky. As CPMCF proves, I mean, even though it's totally absurd that these stocks are even 10 cents, they could go up to $1 if they catch enough shorts and buy-ins. And this one actually came back a little bit. I don't care about stocks when they're under a penny. I don't understand the whole sub-penny culture. There's a lot of them. I mean, those are the people that play like the penny slots here. Who plays the penny slots here, where you put in like 1 penny at a time? Yeah, no one's gonna admit to that publicly. That's cool. You can do it on your own time. Here's THWI. This is another 3 days and done. And I wrote a blog post on this one because you could have done the research yourselves if you like doing your research like that. I do. I love researching. But it was all connected to this one Indian guy. I'm sorry, Kunal, but it's true. And he's very shady, and I'm sorry that he's based in Vancouver. It's the usual suspects over and over again. Like, you have these offshore people who are not necessarily Caucasian. I'm sorry, I don't choose these guys. They seem to choose it. St. Lucia, you asked why I'm such an asshole. It's because all these crooks are Indian and they're from Vancouver, or Delray Beach. I'm sorry, it's true. And then we'll get to some more, but I don't want to impose on Nate's time. So, Nate, come on up here. Bring up Nate with a round of applause.
I started out in college with like $5,000, and I took that to zero, and then I put another 5 in. I was working at Staples for quite some time, and I just kept on kind of rotating. Probably lost 15, 20 grand of just putting it down the rat hole until I figured it all out. And I run Investors Live blog and the Investors Underground live chat room. Some early success and failures is what a lot of you guys do, is just you buy, and you actually buy the penny pick things and you don't sell because you actually believe that they're a good idea, like the AERN $1 billion agreements and whatnot. One was TFCT, which was prize-wise, which was like a you buy like tickets, and instead of putting in bids, you actually buy tickets for a chance to win that item. And I thought it was the next big thing, the next eBay. So I wrote it from subber to 20 cents. I was not a lot of money in it, but probably up 5-7 grand or something like that. And then it started to come down, so I averaged down, wrote it all the way back down to subber. GZFX was the next Netflix, and they had the Dell guy, the dude, guy promoting it, and I thought that was going to be the next Netflix. I would ride it from a penny to $50. That didn't work out either. Did the same thing, average down. So anyway, I had success with mailers again, which is kind of like the LEXG types, but before, it's on the next slide. Before the mailers, you just kind of do the scans. You could find out things through the filings, which I'll go over, and had a lot of success just following one person's mailers. And I actually have a couple more, which were the big gains. And that's it for the intro. It's not always perfect. AVVC, I get smoked on. Everybody knew that it was the next Eric Dickinson play, which is actually the WSML people. But the problem with like the sites that find things early is you don't really know what that volume is. You don't know if it's the subscriber base there that's putting in the volume that is that's creating the move, or if it's legitimate funds and actually the promoters behind it that are doing it. So that's the downside to some of those sites. But this one I just got stuck in. I had too much, and every time I went on the offer, they'd go a penny under me, and I couldn't really show my size. So I eventually just went market, and well, not market, but 10 cents lower. I put a limit and got out and took a $50,000 loss. So anyway, so when it was all good, CVDT and GZGT, this is CVDTs, which I'll pass around as well. And this is GZGT, which is just a copy of it. But that was pretty amazing. The GZGT, they put in every single magazine, Forbes, Business Week, everything. So you actually could flip through the magazine, you'd see an article for GZGT. You got postcards, a mailer, emails, and they were the hot guys for a long time. But like I said before, a lot of this stuff was connected via filings. So you could actually, it was called Vega Star Capital, and you could just kind of search the filings for Vega Star Capital and find out they're doing the debt conversions, and we're able to connect the three. So you just kind of keep it on watch, and when the volume comes in, you kind of have an idea it's going to go. You get a mailer, and so those were some good big gains at first. And then May 5th, I was at UNH at my dorm. I had my motorcycle parked outside, right in the parking lot there, but they were doing a Cinco de Mayo thing, a festivity, and lots of food in the parking lot, all that kind of stuff. So they called me and said that I had to move it or they were going to tow it. And it turns out I should have just let them tow it, because while I was moving it, it broke $3, which is, I don't know if this works, yeah. This was like $3.20, and it broke $3, and it came back and it was like $1.80. So that sucked. It went down to $1.50 and it bounced back almost to $2, and that's where I got out. So that was after all these nice things, which it was probably like half by that time, but that was a big loss. Anyway, so like I said, I should have just let it tow it. I lost it, ended up losing 9 bikes instead of just 1. And my worst loss ever. So I made a lot on these two, lost some on this, and then I started trying to make it back by overcompensating. And I got in that. I added. I was a believer then. Called the IR company. Buyout was imminent. It was holding around $1. Then it went down to like 80 cents. Added a little bit more, so on and so forth. And then the earnings came out, and I had already had like 500,000 shares. I started like with 150 at $1.20. I had 500,000 shares. It was like 60 cents, 65 cents. The next day it opened at 30. So that sucked. The only pros there is I had like a nice tax savings to last me about 2 years. That's about it. Now I have to pay tax again. So, yeah. So I stole this picture from I don't know if the Asian guy that I was with, Modern Rock Bao in the back yesterday. He always had that on his signature on iHub, and it's true. Everybody, you got to sell when everybody's in the oh yeah type state. But you do need the bag holders. You need the Kool-Aid drinkers to keep the world go around. And just like us, you figure it out over time, and then you stop drinking the Kool-Aid because it always ends bad. Just a few do's and do nots. Like I said, like in chat, everybody asks, they say averaging down or averaging up or whatnot. You never want to do that. I do average in, is what I call it, if it's planned. A lot of times I'm not going to go in a full size. I'll go in partial if I think the general idea is it's going to fade or go up, and then I'll add, to half size or full size once I have a little bit of a padding. So that's with averaging down. So don't average down, don't average up. Don't enter a trade with more than you can lose. It's just not worth it, and it's very easy to take you out of the game. And you might actually be a pretty good trader. At the beginning, I was a very good trader. I learned it very quickly, but that was kind of hidden by me just holding, and it almost took me out many a times. Don't enter a trade if you're forced to hold. A lot of guys are like, they'll PM me or whatever, email, hey, I'm in this, I got forced to hold. Why'd you get forced to hold? Well, I'm under the PDT, and if I take it, then I'm going to have a call and get suspended for 90 days because I broke the pattern day trade rule. Don't go in it. You should never not be able to exit a trade if you don't want to. And then do not turn a trade into an investment. A lot of times I'll start going through and be like, oh shit, what's the news? What just happened? And oh well, I guess I could hold this. That seems like a good idea. Or, it was good earnings, And at that point, once you start trying to rationalize why you're in, you're already in for the wrong reasons. You went in for a trade, it's one or the other. And then the dudes just follow your rules, follow your plan, and cut losses. Every time I break my rules, I get smoked. Cena last week, the only reason I was in Cena large is because I made 19 grand on Rays. So usually when I have a good week, I start pressing, and I ended up giving all but 2K back on Cena. So, but that wasn't a plan. I even told my chat room, I said, this is a textbook short trap. Like a lot of the guys were talking about, saying Lucy was talking about, you know, showing hidden size and how they can manipulate the box. There was like a 90,000 offer on the at like 85, and 84.91 showed 100 shares, and they were just taking any size that came. So that's just an example of how the manipulation is in NASDAQ. They just make you think, holy shit, there's a 100K offer, which is like $8.5 million or whatever, 850 grand. So you start panicking to this bid that only shows 100, and they take it all up, and all of a sudden there's a bunch of shorts, and it squeezed to $92 or something. So yeah, don't mix strategies, like I said before. So as far as like turning a trade into an investment, if you can afford it, it's good to have multiple accounts for different strategies. I have some back accounts. For example, Rays is not in my trading account, because if I look at it every tick, then I probably won't hold it. Like I was in LAXG, like I said earlier, at buck 10 average, and I took 17 cents on it, which I had 100,000 shares, but I mean I left 980,000 on the table. But if you're leaving money on the table, that's good. That means you're making money. And one thing I always say is, I'd rather be pissed that I left money on the table than be pissed that I should have taken it off, because that's when things happen. So if you're going to invest. If you're going to trade. Don't mix them. And if you, like I said before, if you start reading the PRs and rationalizing why it may be good and why it should bounce back, you're in for the wrong reasons. And you can do that. You can do it in different accounts, but if you're trading, if you're trying to do it for income, don't mix it. So that's basically what I was going to plan to go over for what I trade. By the way, the next slide before people start going, I didn't put the PowerPoint shows the charts fine, so I didn't put them all on my site. So investorslive.com/Las Vegas doesn't work, or Vegas. But yeah, so former runners, what they are and how to remember them all. I'm a little bit different than Kunal and Mary Beth. I just kind of remember it. If I can't look at a list and use that to my advantage. I just remember tickers over time. Parabolic breakouts, late day fades, difference between like random pops and overextended charts. I'll go over opposite of parabolic, like panic or washout, gearing and perking, and then look into pumps. So trading former runners, it's all about having an edge. Some of the charts that I'll show, you'll see that they don't always go, but if they don't go, they don't tank. So it's good to know them, because you're in early, and the downside isn't really that bad. I mean, if it's something that you know has ran before, it gets some volume, and it's at $3, starts to go at 310, 320, you know, it's either going to go to 4 or it's going to go back to 310. So just like Kunal and a lot of the other guys said, they have their certain stocks that they trade. You get familiar with how things move, and you'll see on the next slide that they run different cycles each year. And does it always work? No. You know, let it. A lot of times, if you miss it, you don't have to just chase it because it's a former runner. Let it go. Pull back. If it hold a higher low, then you actually at least have a plan and a stop loss in place. And not always, but risk versus reward. Then, like I said, the risk of it going down is a lot less if it's a former runner, just because you're on it quick, and you know, they usually don't break down. So that's a lie. And okay, so ABIO, this is a couple of these I took from my PowerPoint last year, but just to show you like former runners. You can kind of see every time ABIO comes on scan, I think it's like $1.20 now or something. That's why it's an old chart, but that's what I remember. Like I know that ABIO always runs. So if I see it hit my scan, if I hit it like a high a day list, or if I see it on a nightly scan that I run that it's got volume and I'm starting to watch it, then I'll start to watch, okay, what were the prior key levels, where does it need to break, and if it breaks out of a certain channel, then I want to be on it. Another example, CDTI, everybody knows this one, I would imagine. It only moved from like $3 to $45 in 3-4 days. But if you see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 opportunities over the last year on that. But if you look at the times that it did pop a little bit, it doesn't really pull back that much. On the actual day that you see like the volume spikes. BDCO, another one, Timmy likes this one. And a lot of these go through like reverse splits. This was a reverse split, then the float gets all tight, and there's only 1 million shares or 2 million shares out there. They do a debt conversion, they get it going again, and all of a sudden 3 million shares come out of nowhere. HAUP, another one that everybody probably knows if you follow Tim for a little while. So this is just trying to get you to see what I call former runners. We know, as soon as you see the ticker, you know whether or not they've ran before. Any questions on that so far? All right, parabolic breakouts. These are some of my favorite to short. Slow and steady, consistently making new highs is what I consider an overextended chart. Like let it keep going, and once it speeds up, which I'll show you a few, that's when I'm interested in it. They typically follow a strong close, normally a morning trade, and also late day fades, which I'll go over. Usually some gap up off the morning strength is what I'm looking for. Needs to accelerate relative to prior price action, which is another key. And take the trade, don't marry it. As soon as you nail it, just get out. Because a lot of times, if they pull back, consolidate, they'll rip right back. So here's for an example, RENN, this is last year. But these are what I'm looking for on the scans. I scan similar to the Bulls on Wall Street guys. I think mine's like 5% that I scan for. I just have a link, so I don't remember the parameters. But I have it listed on my site, and I just go through that, and it shows me everything basically that's popped up on abnormal volume that's up over 5 or 10% the prior day. And so this is what I'm interested in. I'm interested in, gap ups. Like that was a gap up day, and it ran and it pulled back, and then there was another gap up day, ran and it pulled back. Another one, hook. These are the charts again. You can see it starts to speed up, and then what I call relative to the prior price action. So there isn't, you can't just say if this pops 50 cents, then I'm going to short it. I just kind of look at how it moves, and if it's slowly moving, 10 cents, 20 cents, and then rips, 75 cents, that's what I'm interested in. Something that's 3-4 times, 4 times more than how it was trading prior. And then as it keeps on going, my short bias gets more and more in favor of just shorting it. But again, if you short it and it doesn't work out, stop loss. I don't use any hard stop. It's all mental, just because, saying Uzi had said, they can see that. They can take it right to your order and squeeze you out or knock you out from the long side and rip it right back to exactly where you thought it was going to go. Steady gainers, but no corrections. So another one, this is VHC. The charts like this that have been going up, and then during the day, you look for the speed up. So this is like that same chart the next day, and this is kind of just inching along, takes off, and then obviously a parabolic relative to the prior price action on the day. And it's just a big squeeze, and you have to kind of think, sure, it was, news or rumor or something like that, but knowing that the chart looked like this coming into it, and then that happening during the day, people are going to take profits. That people always take profits into moves. So you're just trying to take advantage of that action. So anytime that it speeds up, which this candle. I mean, look at this candle compared to
goodness.
all of these. That's what I'm interested in. And then this is the worst one. This is just like Cena the other day in Java. I think I lost like $9,000 on this, but this is the one that gets me pretty much every time. And this had a big chart. I think I took it out. But it basically went from $5 to 35, I think, or 30 or 35. And this was in the 26 range. So yeah, the next day it peaked out at like 28 or 29. But it just, knowing that it had a huge chart, it had gapped down and then it came back and it just kind of formed this top. So I was using that as like a guide because it wasn't able to get through it. But then you can see late day, it finally broke through and it just squeezed. So I got out here. I saved myself quite a bit of money. But this is what to watch out for when trading these types of things. And if you break your rules like I did, then, you're gonna lose a lot of money. Because I was in probably like one half size, just starting in, but then I kind of went too big. But like I said, where most of my losers come from, and a lot of times I'll write in the chat room and stuff like that, if I know people are short and they didn't take, it came back down, it went up, came back down, take some profit, and then it kind of starts slowly inching back up. That's where these things happen. Born, I think. Yep. So Born, this is a parabolic chart. Another, this will be like a failed red to green next, but this is just a trade. Like I said, don't marry it, because when it's like this, shorts are in trouble, but you're just taking advantage of people taking profits, because you got to think other people are on the long side. They are, up, and if it gaps up and it starts to pull back, they finally have a reason to sell. A lot of times when stocks are going straight up, there's no reason for people to take profits, because they're like my uncle who just buys gap ups and he ends up making good money, but there's no reason to sell. It's green and he'll just hold it until it's red. So like I said, once it turns red, then people are like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be in this. Maybe I'll take a little bit off the table. So that's kind of what I'm looking to take advantage of. So for example, this was the chart, big move, and then the next day it had pulled back and it was testing. Another note I should say, we look at like $half breaks and whole numbers, like $20, $19.50, $18.50, $18, like things like that. I trade a lot around $half marks and dollar marks. But for example, this one gapped up and it went red. The green line that goes across right here is the previous close. So it was this big chart, and then the next day it gapped up, and then it hit red, came back, knocked out red again, and I think this is 10:30. So I had short it right here, anticipating, which I'm a little bit different than Tim here, because I don't go in full size, and I scale in and scale out. If you're like Tim and you just go in full size most of the time, then it might not work. But I started in, and it went red, and the main reason was the big chart, but it failed. Right here failed going back green, and then it did a washout, and you can actually see it actually hit 1750. And then that's just what I'm talking about, is just take gains. When you have something that fast, that you can control that. You can't control, okay, well, it could keep going down. I trade for income, so I always lock in. I miss out on millions and millions and millions, but I can control. I have $400 gain, I have $1,000 gain, I can control that. I take it and move on to the next. I don't have a lot of patience, and which stems back to how I started trading in college. It was between classes and sometimes during classes and things like that, but you're looking for the move, and that's what I'm good at finding, but I'm not good at holding it from dying to, like, Kunal bought that Moby or whatever it was this morning. I would have never been able to hold that past 30 cents, and he's probably still in. And then, so late day fades is very similar. Like I said, the big charts like that, I look for like flat line, and then either a break down or a break off. from that level. So I don't just short random stuff if it's just kind of going up slowly but surely during the day. I wait for it to flatten out, and then that's where if it perks off a flat line or if it drops off of a flat line, then that's when I'm interested in it. Yeah, so there are charts that have been in play for days, weeks, months that are just going straight up. And like I said before, people just haven't had a reason to take profits yet. They've been going up. So the first red day, things like that. Testing key support and barely hanging on. So I have an example that you can see it next, or a couple slides, but I'll go over that one. So charts that have had lower highs. So charts that are going straight up, that 1050 was the top, then 1020 was the top, then 1010 was